So it's cold here, hand on top of the head. It's still a little hard to start when it's cold, and it's hunting pretty bad. So let's see if we can fix the hunting in this right here and where it just runs smoothly. So I'm going to go ahead and start by taking the air filter off and trying to get to the carburetor here. Now, in order to remove the carburetor from the gas tank, there's going to be 5 bolts. I'm using a T20 Torx bit here. There's going to be one right here, one right here. There's going to be one back here on the carburetor. This one's going to be tight. There's going to be one back here on the crankcase vent tube here. There's going to be another one right here that we're going to have to remove right there. Once we remove those, we're going to go ahead and remove the carburetor from the gas tank. Now, in order to remove the carburetor from the engine block itself, there's going to be 2 that we're going to have to remove, and one's going to be right here, and one's going to be way down here, and I'll show you those in just a minute. Now, in order to remove the choke plate here, we do have one linkage rod. We're gonna rotate it where this linkage rod right here will be able to remove like so. On the other side here, we have the kill switch wire that goes to the ignition. I'm gonna push down, pull it out. Now the choke plate is now removed. I'm going to remove this black piece right here. It'll give us access to this bottom bolt that holds the carburetor to the head. So you don't confuse, the bolt that's holding this black lever here in has like a shank right here. So just don't confuse that with the rest of the bolts. Next, I'm going to remove the exhaust pipe here in a 7/16 socket. The next one you're going to need to remove is right down here. Remember, we took this black piece off a second ago so we could have more room to access that. So the carburetor is now free. I went ahead and took this upper flap here forward. This right here is to adjust the speed. It went right here on this black lever here. Went ahead and took that off. Also, there's a rod going down here to the bottom of the carburetor to help with the choke. Went ahead and took that off as well. So I'm just going to be using some Gum Out carbon choke cleaner. Pick this up anywhere. I went ahead and put the little red straw on here as well. This is going to help us get into any of the little crevices on the carburetor itself. So as far as safety, I am wearing my glasses, so be sure to, if you're going to do this, to wear some glasses as well. Now on the carburetor, we need to remove this side cover here. I'm going to be using a Torx T15 to remove these 4 small screws away from the carburetor. Once all 4 screws are removed, now we just go ahead and lift up on this plate here, like so. First thing you notice is the diaphragm underneath this plate here, and let's look at that real quick. Here is the diaphragm, and as you can see, it's already kind of trampolined up top here where it's not doing much work, so it's already bulged out, and it's not very pliable as well. It's very stiff. So this right here definitely needs to be replaced. So this upper part here protects the spring from not poking a hole on your diaphragm. So in order to rebuild this carburetor, I picked up a carburetor rebuild kit off of Amazon as of March of 22. It only cost me about $4. Now while we have this apart, I'm gonna go ahead and take some carburetor cleaner and the straw and blow it through these little nozzles here and also inside of the carburetor. Remember to do use safety goggles when you're doing that because the spray can come back and hit you in the face. Next, we're going to take this cover and the carburetor cleaner and make sure all the little passages on here are clean as well. And once you're putting the spring back in and the spring cover, remember the spring cover goes on top and it'll just drop into place like so. Next, the gasket's only going to go on one way. You got this little knob here. You can use this as an alignment. Place the gasket right there above it. Next, what I like to do is go ahead and put my screws back into the cover here. The cover's only going to go on one way as well. Next, go ahead and tighten the bolts down to the diaphragm cover. That gasket is now reinstalled. The cover's back on. We are going to remove this gasket here. So if you're not removing the gas tank like I'm doing, another way you can clean this right here is to get a rag, spray some carburetor cleaner on the rag, and wipe the tank down. But wipe away from the gas tank itself. We don't want to push any kind of contaminants into the gas tank. These right here are going to be the gas tank gaskets. The deal is when I bought this, I couldn't just buy one off of Amazon, so I had to buy a pack of 5. So now if I run into any more equipment with the same engine carburetor combo with the gas tank, I have more gaskets. And I think all of these cost me $6 or $7, so it wasn't too bad. So as you can tell where the gas tank was painted, and it looks like when you go to put the gasket on, it's not going to go that way. I have to put it on to go upside down. Now on this case here, this gasket has all the holes cut out except one, and it's this back corner back here. So I'm just going to take my finger and press on that hole there to give me an indentation. So once I put the carburetor on, I know that bolt's going to have to go through there. I may just take my knife and pop a little hole in there so nothing falls down into the gas tank once we set the carburetor on. I made an indentation with my finger, and it shows us a round circle mark here. I'm gonna just take my pocket knife and just trim that little circle there out. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble the carburetor back to the gas tank here. This little nozzle here doesn't go into the big opening, it goes into the little side opening here. So at this point, you can go ahead and bolt the carburetor back to the head. Go ahead and bolt the carburetor back to the gas tank. Put the exhaust back on. Also go ahead and put the run, choke, and the off, idle, and fast selector back on. All right guys, let's go ahead and try this again. We got a new carburetor diaphragm in it, new spring cap. Got a new gasket on top of the gas tank here. Just choke it. Wow, that just popped off so easily just then. So there it goes, guys. Let's go ahead and try to start it without the choke this time. I'm gonna just put it on kind of low since we just turned it off. Starts easier without choke. Put it on fast. Just try to start it on fast without choke. I'm pretty stoked, guys.